Everything I'm doing now stems from a promise that I made God. But previous to the promise, I asked God to take away every dream I ever had, just to let me be normal. That didn't work out so well, at all. So I changed it up, and this time I said, okay, God, whatever you want, I'll do it. I promise you, just use me. When the going gets tough, do we get going? Do we just think, well, this is the way it's been, it's the way it'll always be. I might as well get used to it. No, we got to stop doing that. We don't need to sit and settle in our setback, or even worse. Do we shrink back? Do we say, well, I'm already a mess. They already think I'm a failure. I might as well do this. And do we make things worse? We have got to stop this. When things aren't going well, we need to pause and pray before we move full speed ahead in the wrong direction. Well, I knew I couldn't get back what I lost, what I gave up on, and I didn't have a dream anymore. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan, but God still had a plan for me. When I gave away my dreams, that's when I became available to receive His. I woke up from a dream, and I felt like I should write it down. And I felt God say, write this down. And I said, oh, I'll do it in the morning. And He said, that's not what you said you were going to do. And it was so clear. I sat up in bed, I rolled over, it was 3:13 in the morning, and I started writing. Well, that ended up being my first book. Believe revolves around an abandoned church, a bunch of bored kids, and a town full of lost dreamers, and two 12-year-old girls from completely different backgrounds who are going to stir things up. And what they find is that God's plan is bigger than their own, and that their dreams aren't just for them. Well, my goal is to bridge the gap between the religious and the secular industry. Teens need a series they can relate to, but that doesn't glamorize sex and drugs and all these things that have become normal, or bring God in and have everything work out perfectly. It is about 5 diverse teens who are struggling to let go of their past to meet at this controversial boarding school for the arts. Now, in our world, they probably would have never interacted, but here, the one thing they have in common is none of them fit in. Really, the series is about their battle with faith and fear. Are they going to embrace who they are and discover their purpose, or will they let their insecurities define them? I started writing sermons because God said it was time to turn my mess into messages. I know what it's like to live in fear and to be constantly bullied. And what I didn't realize is that while I was doing the right thing in this circumstance, there's a million other stories I can tell you about where I wasn't. But in this particular circumstance, I wasn't succumbing to fear. I wasn't not being myself, But what I didn't realize is all the seeds of doubt and anxiety that were being planted inside of me. Living in this anxiety mode, even when I was happy, it was normal. It's just how life was. It is not how life is supposed to be. Behind every person, no matter how they look, what they've been through, no matter what mess they're living in right now, there is that masterpiece inside, just waiting to be revealed. We can't say yes to God without saying no more to the habits and the excuses and the lifestyle that have kept us from seeing His vision. But one of my favorite pastors says that, your dream may or may not come to pass, but a God dream will chase you down. And that's what happened to me. God's dream for me saved my life.